Welcome back to the Three Amigos podcast.
Breaking news. Sorry, Alex, but we have breaking news. As you guys know, this is a sporting podcast. We respect sports. We love sports. But unfortunately, there's been a tragedy in the sports world. A big kerfluffle, if you must. See, the integrity of someone in the sporting world is now in question, as our beloved McJam has in fact been banned lifetime, might you add, to chess.com.
No,
And I just think this needs to be addressed on our platform before we can do anything else.
McJam, what do you have to say for yourself?
I plead the fifth. Now,
Okay.
honestly, I made a dumb decision. I admit my mistakes and I deserve the ban. So I'm just taking it on the chin and moving on with my life.
That's a real man.
No
Well,
more.
it sounds like a real man, but if you listen closely, you can hear him breaking his phone in the background. He's trying to hide the evidence. He will not be showing up to his court date.
That's awesome. You know what? Out of all the people to get banned from anything, McJam would be the last person I think would do it.
I would have figured it'd be Alex.
100%. 100%, dude.
Alex is definitely number one up there.
I'll be honest with you, dude. Back in the day, I used to do words of friends, snap that picture, send it over to the other one, get the best word possible, go back, do it again.
Of course.
Alex
of
is
course
a
you did that.
known cheater in most games.
Yes.
Fantasy football, obviously, you heard it here. He is known to be a cheater.
Hey,
and that's okay.
hey. I want you to see. I want to see the proof before I get my name tarnished like this. Okay, I want to see the
The
proof.
proof is that you just admitted to it.
No. In words of friends.
We recorded it.
Words with friends. I didn't say anything about fantasy football. That was you guys tarnishing my name.
Right here knows exactly what I'm talking about. We're at this bowling alley, knowing exactly what we're doing. I'm just looking over my shoulder. I got people added in the queue, not even saying a word. Alex's little eyes just wander.
And that was the second year in a row. The year before, in a living room, he did the same thing.
Listen, all I know is that that's trash. I won that year, and then we happened to get a brand new league where I no longer had the first official winnings of everything. But no,
you do.
Yeah, when you look at our league, though, it doesn't say I do. So it's pretty trash, if you ask me.
Well, you know what, Alex? We won't talk about you, cheater. But this week, we do have a very special football of cheaters. I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, we are going to get talks on football because it is time. And when you're thinking about cheaters, I know that he's in the headlines right now for these scandals that he has. My main man, Jerry. This week, we get to cover the NFC West or East. Oh, I fucked it up. That's my division. Hey, I'm waking up. I'm tired. But
how could you?
Dude. You know, I was thinking about
technically Cowboys, they do the training camp in California, so maybe right now they are the NFC West.
Dude, they're like, I don't understand the division.
Do they actually do training camp in California?
Yeah. In Oxford
or something. Oxnard. Yeah, it might be Oxnard. I don't know.
Why?
It's right outside of San Francisco.
What?
Better weather?
What about your fans in Dallas that love to see you?
They're gonna come out for everything else.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's true.
That's
weird, though.
They're focused on high school right now, so they're making their way up. But yes, we get to talk about the all-glorious NFC East. And let me tell you, there was so many changes that went on between all these teams. The Giants were the least changes, and they still had a lot of changes. So I'm super stoked to get down to the nitty-gritty. And we'll also be covering your AFC West. That one is a division that, obviously, you got your powerhouse champions, and then just some stragglers. So we'll get to see. This week, let's just start off. Hey, Chris, I know you're talking about the AFC West here earlier, but what would you go down this? Because we can bring it home. We can start off with me. We can leave me for last and just sucker it in. But
I think we start with the AFC West. I think there's a little bit less to talk about. There's so much to dive into with the NFC East as far as the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Giants, even the Commanders have so much to talk about with their offseason moves. So I think let's start it off with the AFC West, and we might as well go right after the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs.
Man, I hate when you say that.
Yeah,
Don't we all?
They're going for a three-peat this year, which is pretty trash to me. You know what? If the Steelers don't win it, I would love to see a three-peat. I'm just gonna say it.
I would not.
I don't.
I'm just gonna say it.
Honestly, after we were looking them up and trying to figure out all the different changes they've made in the offseason, and they made some minor ones like most people do, like go add some small names, nothing too crazy. I think the biggest name they re-signed was Michael Hardman. But I think the biggest offseason like hype right now is definitely Xavier Worthy, their wide receiver they drafted. Supposed to be what, the new Tyreek Hill. He's from Texas, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's crazy.
super fast.
Super fast. But you know, speed doesn't always translate into the NFL.
No, it doesn't.
On Ross the third.
Yeah, but this kid plays good. This kid's pretty good.
Yeah, well, probably. I mean, I bet he's talented. Obviously, he was drafted within the first round. I don't think John Ross. He was too. But I think it always translates to the NFL. It's different, right? The only person they lost was I don't know how to say his name.
Ladarius Sneed. Big loss by them. Big
Yeah,
cornerback
that is a
loss.
big loss.
Goes to the Tennessee Titans. My home state for a little bit there. And it was a big. I'm shocked that he took the payday over another chance at a Super Bowl.
You know what? You got so many.
But think he's had 3 now, so he wants that back.
Yeah, go to a pretty
and
crazy
been there
team.
for a long time, so maybe it's just that moment to move on. And the only other big thing they did was sign a 2-year contract extension for Mr. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift.
Yes, saw
he
that.
was in the news. Did you see that? He's getting a little tired from all of the travelings he's had to do.
Yeah, he said training camp's beating him up a little bit more this year. He also said his age is factoring in it too. But yes, I think all the Taylor Swift traveling and mounting is probably taking a toll on him.
And carrying, some would say. You see him carrying him? Hey.
Well,
probably a lot.
You don't talk about a lot of changes, movements, and all these things, but you still can't help but think they're still going to be fucking good.
Oh, they're going to be so good. They're going to be so good.
A hard team to beat. I mean, anytime you got Patrick Mahomes under center, you got Andy Reid as their offensive play caller.
They got a deal done last year with Chris Jones, so he's going to be probably finishing his career there. Like, they're going to be scary for a while.
The thing that like is we were talking about Worthy earlier, and it's like, yeah, we had John Ross, but if John Ross was with Andy Reid, I think that Andy Reid would have got him open. Like it just seems like Worthy's gonna be this guy that Andy Reid's gonna get open. And it's gonna be fun to see. It just sucks that they just get another weapon on this team that's just so good that doesn't need another weapon. Their defense is still gonna be their defense. Is Spags still there?
Yeah, I believe so.
Their defensive coordinator. Pretty sure he's still there. Like,
I don't think he's going anywhere.
No, I mean, after his head coaching stint, he was like, I'm just going to settle here.
Yeah, I think he's content with being just a defensive coordinator. Nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
So I think he's probably there for as long as Reid is going to be there.
Mm-hmm. And hey, I'm excited to see what they do this year. I'm excited to see how, what's his name? McDuffie is like their number 1 cornerback now that Ladarius Sneed's gone.
I think so, yeah.
I think that's his last name, but I'm excited to see what that defense does. Chris Jones is there, like you said. They lost a big piece in Sneed. Like when you have 2 lockdown corners, it's kind of nice. And now you lose that number 1, and now McDuffie. I'm pretty sure it's McDuffie. McJam, can you tell me if I'm saying that right, or if it's? I know it's Mc something. But I'm excited to see if they actually can do something. And I'm excited to see with all the changes the other teams have made, if they're actually going to be able to sweep their division.
But McDuffie, yeah, you're right, Alex.
Yeah, McDuffie, yeah.
I don't know why. I thought his name was Jeremy.
Jeremy McDuffie. Yes, sir.
Obviously, we are experts in this field. No, this is just always bullshit. Dude, they have the shortest wide receiving room ever. Their literally tallest guy is 6'4", and it's one dude. Everybody else is 6 foot and below.
Speed, baby.
Wow. Well, they also have Travis Kelce.
Yeah,
So
but
that's the other tall guy, but it's not like he's jumping up like Megatron.
no. I mean, he's still 6'5". He's still
And
up.
I guess they've proven it. They don't really need anybody else besides Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and a okay number one receiver.
This
Yeah.
is 100% new wave offense.
Yeah.
Small, fast players, but they have Isaiah Pacheco still. Who's
Yeah,
running.
Isaiah Pacheco is gonna carry that ball all day, put them in great situations. Then Mahomes just needs to feed it to Kelce and honestly Xavier, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, they'll get some balls to Hardman, and I'm blanking on his name. Who's Butterfingers over there?
Kadarius Toney, baby.
Darius Toney, who just
Toney.
got. Do you see the video of him getting lit up in practice, throwing the ball at the dude, and then Travis
Yeah.
Kelce getting in that guy's face?
OTAs. There's no reason to be doing that.
I love
I
it.
don't get it, but I'm assuming just in the heat of the moment, like you're getting fired up, and anybody, even if it's your teammate, anyone who's lighting you up like that is gonna get it,
And you know that linebacker that did it is like on that maybe practice squad, maybe making the team.
He's trying to prove himself.
Yeah, he's trying to prove himself. I don't know who hit him, but like good for him. Like, hey, just so you know, buddy, I'm still here in the middle of the field if you want to run over here.
And at the end of the day, you can't do that to Travis Kelce. You'll get in trouble. You shouldn't do that to Xavier Worthy either. You'll get in trouble. Obviously, no one's touching Mahomes in the special jersey. That's a guy that, hey, you want to prove yourself? Who gives a shit if you light him up, because he's probably not seeing the field that much this year.
That's crazy. Well, it was still intense, I will say that. But besides that, I don't really. Chiefs are the Chiefs. Well, I mean, it's just going to be another year of them being good.
Until
season and maybe making a Super Bowl.
Yep. Until Andy Reid's gone from there, I don't see them not being a really good team.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Let's bring on the next contestant. Who's up?
Christopher,
I mean,
this is, yeah.
I say let's move on to the
wanna do
only
your
team
favorite?
the only team in the division that I think has a chance of really competing with the Chiefs, and that is the Los Angeles, which is still weird to say to me, Chargers, with the new Jim Harbaugh era. I'm actually so excited. As you guys know, a couple years ago when the Lions were in their I was just like, okay, if this regime can't get it together, we're never going to be good. And I was looking for that next team to be my secondary team to root for. I knew Tom Brady was on his last season. I needed something else to get me through the rough times being a Lions fan. Obviously, they've turned that around, but I still like having an AFC team to kind of root for. And I gotta say, it's going to be the Los Angeles Chargers with Jim Harbaugh at the helm. I'm very excited for this team. They went real hard with getting rid of unnecessary contracts with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, both very talented players, but also both very injury prone in recent years.
Austin Eckler.
I don't think they finished the season together in the last few years. Yes, then they got rid of Austin Eckler. And then they started building in the trenches this offseason, and they went after Joe Alt out of Notre Dame, huge offensive lineman to protect Justin Herbert. Gotta love that move. I think this team is going to become, what you saw at Michigan as far as running the ball hard and setting up for great pass attempts. Obviously, you got Justin Herbert, who can just throw that ball over the place. But yeah, I'm excited. He brought his offensive coordinator from Michigan, so like that's pretty much. I mean, I'm sorry, the defensive coordinator. So he's bringing that. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna glaze Michigan all over this team right now because they also got the strength and conditioning coach there who made a huge impact on the team. I'm just telling you, this is the only team in the division that has a chance at taking down the Chiefs.
There's going to be some teams that we talk about, and Chris is going to know the bare minimum. But Chris knows down to the nitty gritty where the strength and conditioning coach is for Michigan, where they move on, how long they've been with them, where they go next. And then this man just knows so much about teams. So I can understand. You might as well just call them in our podcast, the Los Angeles the Los Angeles Wolverines because they're essentially.
I love that actually. I love
Los
that.
Angeles. That's a pretty hard name.
Well, let's just be frank with all this, right? Let's talk about one Jim Harbaugh and adding to the Chargers. I love it. I think it's fantastic as a man's making a way to come back. You give him, I think, what a good quarterback even to have as a coach. And like if he could do what he did with like Colin Kaepernick, and before that he had Alex Smith. And then I know you guys had JJ McCarthy who just got drafted this year by the Vikings.
He technically coached Andrew Luck in college.
At Stanford. Yep. So I just think about all these people, and I think this is almost some of the best thing that you could do for Mr. Justin Herbert. What do you guys think?
Oh, absolutely.
I have a question. Why did Jim get forced out of the 49ers?
Yes, the relationship at the end, like the last 2 years specifically, got really spoiled over there. Him and the front office just didn't get along. I think he maybe wanted some more say in things. They obviously didn't want to give him any say in things. And he's an odd cat. Like he's a unique personality. And so I just think that kind of soured on him and he wanted to move on. And so he went to go coach Michigan.
And then do you know who the GM is at the Chargers right now?
No.
I
do not. I think they're fairly new.
Okay.
Not new this year, but like
new last year.
I think hired within the Brandon Staley era.
What a horrible era.
What's your question leading to?
My question is, I'm just saying, like, my question is leading to is like what he was able to do with, obviously they were kind of stacked on defense over there in at the 49ers when he took them to the Super Bowl. And it's going to be fun to see because I don't know how their defense really is at the Chargers. Obviously bringing over.
I mean, they got Joey Bosa.
Yeah, I mean
Khalil Mack.
Yeah, the worst of the Bosa brothers and an old guy who can't really rush the passer anymore. But the obviously bringing over the Michigan DC is like a big thing too because that defense was pretty stout. Watching them play every week because it was nice to actually be able to watch college ball. But I'm excited to see what they do this year. I don't know how good they're actually going to be. I know you're hyping them up, and I think they'll be fine. I just don't know how good they're actually going to be this year because looking at their team, Harbaugh is going to need a lot from a little.
Oh, absolutely.
I think this definitely could be one of the sneakiest teams, right? Like I think in retrospect, like they're not as bad when I started looking at them on paper. I think that was like the big thing because when I was first like talking about them and looking at them, I was like, oh, there's not a lot, but they did go off and like get some people. So like for instance, I mean, I think this is the worst thing you could have done. But they got Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. They literally took the Ravens back when they brought it over. Well, J.K. Dobbins hasn't finished the season in his first 3 seasons. I'm so sorry as a running back and your knees are both getting shot, dude. You're just slowly declining. I don't think it's going to be the same. I hope for his sake because I got fucked last year on a fantasy trade, Mr. Chris. Not on your part. It just was that it was
what it was.
I just didn't. Yep, whatever. But they add them to already who Austin Eckler was injured a ton. And their wide receiving rooms, so they have DJ Chark. They have a Quentin Johnson, who's they talked actually a lot about him this year. I know he dropped a ton of balls last year, but I think they're saying that he has kind of like a prove it year because Harbaugh was like, yeah, dude, I'm done, out the door. They don't care. They just added McConkey, so at a slot position, I think will be clutch. And Joshua Palmer still is really good.
Oh, okay. They saw Palmer, and then they picked up Rice. See what he can do in the draft.
They also got Cornelius Johnson. He's a Michigan wide receiver, and I think I don't think you're going to see too much of him this year, unless of course these guys really start dropping the ball. Yeah, I'm just filling you in on my favorite team.
That's because I mean Quentin Johnson is like 6'5", right? Am I wrong? He's a big boy.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
If he can actually become that big body receiver, you have some of these other guys play those, and then Hayden Hurst, he is what he is, but he's at least a solid tight end. He's not going to be the flashiest tight end, but he's a solid tight end. He'll catch the ball in the end zone. He'll get his touchdowns. He'll get his yards, but it's going to be fun to see like I said, what they can do with if Jim Harbaugh can actually do the Jim Harbaugh effect and see what they can do with a little and get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
Well, and they're going to set those receivers up. They're not just going to be trying to throw it to them nonstop. Like this team is going to run the ball. They got Greg Roman as their offensive coordinator from the Ravens.
But with who? That's the only thing. Yeah, it's awesome. But who are they running the ball with?
But here's the thing: when you have a good O-line, which I think this O-line will be this year, it's not that you can hand the ball off to anybody, but you can kind of hand the ball off to anybody. Look at the Lions offensive line. So, 2 years ago, you had Jamal Williams tear it up with Swift. And now this past year, you had two completely different guys who were not in the system the year before come and tear it up as well. So when you have a really good O-line, a good running back can get the job done.
Yeah, but I would argue that Montgomery
last year, that's why Justin Herbert struggled a lot because he was always under pressure. I mean, you add Joe Alt, yes, like you added a good guy, but like, is that enough?
It's a big building block, and I think they made a couple other moves at offensive tackle as well. But I just think they're going to be better, and I think they're going to run the ball to set up play action passes to these receivers to get them more open.
Well, I'm so happy that we have another Los Angeles Wolverines to talk about for the rest of the year. And if we let Chris talk about it, he'll keep talking about it.
Absolutely.
Alex is ready to go from this conversation, obviously. So, Chris, I'm just
all right, Alex. Yeah, go for it.
Talk about the Denver Broncos. And
perfect. Thank you.
I love the Denver Broncos for a lot of different reasons. One, they were in shambles and talked about all last year, hyped up, literally. Then this year, they made some questionable moves that leave you kind of scratching your head thinking, why did I do this? Or why did you do this? Because they're not our team. Yeah, we know some Broncos fans, but like, that sucks, bro. Let's just be honest. They get rid of Russ. They go get Bo Nix in the draft. I think that's solid.
That's fine.
He's okay. So, most experienced college pro quarterback, right? He's a pro quarterback now in college. Ever to play. No,
and he had the right system too. He was probably the most quarterback ready system that they had.
But the question though is when does he come in, because right they away. Also picked up Zach Wilson. Well,
okay.
I would agree.
Everybody saw the Zach Wilson tape.
Yeah,
it looks bad.
So yeah, I wouldn't want that.
No. What talk about a weird trade? You trade for Zach Wilson. It's like, what are you doing?
I'm assuming just young depth.
For what reason? Like, it's like if you're gonna bring in, if you knew that you were gonna go for a quarterback in the draft, wouldn't you have want to bring in like an older vet to like help him out a little bit? Because what is Zach Wilson gonna bring to you? But like, this is his third or fourth year. Like, you're gonna bring what? Like a rough.
You're gonna bring a guy who's hungry to earn the starting position. So you might create, workhorses between the two for that fight to get that QB1 spot. I don't know. I agree. I agree. I would put a vet in there for Bo Nix to learn from. But in this situation, I would just start him right away, but we'll see. Nothing's been said.
And
round pick. So really, are you losing? It's like gambling a little bit, right?
Right.
Yeah, and Sean Payton's a good enough coach to understand what to do.
Dude, I used to think so, and after watching them last year, I don't really think it was
that
him
Dolphins game.
That was pretty rough. Yeah. I mean, I wonder, did they also get rid of both of their coordinators, or did they keep the staff and then they make jam? Can you see that? Like, I don't know what they necessarily did. Like we said,
I think they kept the staff.
That is so wild that you keep a staff that lost 70 to what? 77 to set or whatever the fuck it was.
I think like 14.
Yeah. Awesome.
I think they got a score at the end.
Like, it is, no matter how good Miami is, they should not score 70 points on you. Like, that should not be a score that happens in the NFL. I don't know, man.
You know what? I get what you're saying, but it is unfortunately what it was.
Yeah. And so, like,
they go ahead and they lose people like Jerry Jeudy. They didn't think he was worth it again. So they trade for Zach Wilson, who has proven he's not worth it. Jerry Jeudy is decent, and they go ahead and get rid of him. We talked about that last week.
I don't think they wanted to pay him.
Yeah, that's true. I can get that. But then they pick up people like Josh Reynolds, who we know he was a Lion for a little bit. Yeah.
Yes, and he was great until he kind of choked in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers.
He was a really good number 2.
And then where did he go after that? See, that's the problem, is I kind of lost.
He used to be on the Rams, and then he was on the Lions, and now he's with the Broncos.
And he was, I mean, I had him on my fantasy team. He was pretty good as of like the last 2 years, right? That's who he was on the team.
Him and Goff had a great connection, but I think he was just due to get paid, and how he played in the final game was just not what you do if you want to get paid.
Yeah.
Understood. And then they got an oldie filter set. So they add some talent to their wide receiver room, I guess. I mean, they did go ahead and get Franklin from Oregon, which I thought was a great pickup, right? They acquired him. Bo Nix is through him all throughout college. And so I think what an easy win. And they got him, I think, in like the 2nd or 3rd round, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a good pickup for especially your rookie quarterback. If you're planning to start him, get him comfortable with the guy off the rip, have him go down there.
I literally put on here, signed a lot of nobodies. So who knows what they're going to do? This team also just went fire sale, right? Got rid of Chubb, was the big one they got rid of. Who else? They got rid of a ton of people. I can't even
on their defense, they got rid of. Yeah, they kind of just said, I think honestly, this might be a really shitty year for them, but it's just to be like, cool, like, hey, but they got rid of Chubb mid-season last year, right?
Yeah.
Before the trade deadline, I'm pretty sure. And then yeah, and he went to Miami, right? Yeah. And so like
actually, I think, to be honest, I think they traded him the year before to Miami right before the deadline.
Was it the year before?
Yeah, it was the year before.
Oh, that's right. And then, but yeah, they literally just are they are in a full rebuild. They are in a full rebuild. We got a McJam update. November 1st, 2022, Chubb. Yeah. Okay. So
they still didn't do anything, but I know at the end of the day, this team is probably going to be average at best. But you know what? Anything's better than last year. The expectations are like this high, and really, I think they're
Yes, I agree.
They're okay with rebuilding and figuring out what it is. I'm just curious, how long does Sean Payton want to do this for? Because this could be 2 to 3 seasons in the build, and do you really want to do it? He retired for a reason. Came out thinking he could win a shot with the Super Bowl. So how much longer does he stay?
Ooh, you're right. I think this team is still in the infancy of its rebuild. So if he doesn't want to stick around for that, and he would rather go back and do TV, I think he lasts maybe 2 more years. If there's no signs of progress. But then again, that kills a bit of his legacy. So also, does he just stick it out until he can get this thing back on track and then maybe dip out?
Hey, I got one theory, and this may be a couple years down the road, but the man I could see eventually taking over for head coach, if he would get in entertainment business, is Mr. Payne Manning. The dude still lives in Colorado. He loves Colorado.
Yeah.
He already worked with the Broncos. John Elway was his GM. He was the quarterback. They get along. They're friendly. He knows the game.
He coaches Little League, so I mean, he likes to coach, obviously.
Maybe he gets his kids some time and get through high school, and once they get to college, he just makes a move.
That would be honestly so cool.
That would be what I would love to see if he's brought on like as like a quarterback coach or a quarterback consultant in like the next 2 or 3 years to be like, hey, let's see if you want to do this.
I mean, you got Bo Nix. Now time to do it. If you're gonna
if you're gonna bring in a backup of Zach Wilson, but you add Peyton Manning as a quarterback coach, please, 100%. That's fine. There's your veteran right there. You don't need anyone else.
Love it.
Like you have him right there.
Let's finish this guy up. We got one more team through the AFC West. We have the Las Vegas Raiders officially signing Antonio Pierce in the offseason to the head coaching gig. All the teams
Finally.
are very excited about. And then they went out and made some moves. So first off, they let go of Jimmy G, which I think is good. The dude is injury prone like crazy, so good riddance, goodbye. Hunter Renfro, who actually like 2 years ago had a breakout season, did nothing last year, and then they dipped out with him.
Good.
Let's talk about their additions because these ones are funny. So first off, Christian Wilkinson, the dude talks. I love it. I love that he's a
I
Raider.
love
think
Christian Wilkins.
he fits the description. He is going to be fun to watch there with Max Crosby and him. That's going to be a dominant side of the line.
Oh, scary.
Scary. And this defense is going to be solid. You know, Antonio Pierce is a defensive minded guy to begin with. They were still good last year. It's what's going to win them games. Their quarterback, they went and got Gardner Minshew. So, but they still have I think his name was Austin, right?
Aiden O'Connor.
Aiden O'Connor.
Aiden O'Connor. It's definitely Aiden O'Connor.
Yeah, I mean Gardner Minshew's by far the better choice there. No offense to O'Connor, but
Yeah.
that's a very weak
Is it
position for them.
O'Connor or is it O'Connell?
O'Connor.
You might be right. It might be O'Connell. I just know him as AOC.
I know him as AOC too. That's all I know him as. I think it's Aiden O'Connell.
O'Connell, you are right, Alex.
Yeah, I was like,
There
I
you
don't
go.
think it's O'Connell. Yeah. Look at
No,
me.
sorry. Don't mean to disrespect.
Yeah, sorry, AOC.
Like you
The
said, we
player.
are
I just know him by the nickname.
We know what we're doing. We know what we're talking about. Professionals are the best. Yeah. Aiden O'Connell. It's great. I think Gardner Minshew definitely, because he gets a little bit of hate for being who he is, but I think he was talented.
I mean, I love Minshew Mania. I just don't see how this team is going to be all that great with either of them at the quarterback helm. Now, going into the draft, I thought until the Atlanta Falcons pulled a what the fuck, I thought for sure the Raiders would be the team that ends up with Michael Penix Jr. And that would be exciting. This is not as exciting.
Yeah, dude, I do agree. Because that would have been really cool. But Gardner's that guy where, like, think about it, he was in Jacksonville. He actually was pretty decent with Jacksonville. Then they drafted Trevor Lawrence because why don't you? You're a generational talent. Then he goes to Indianapolis.
Trash.
Then they draft Anthony Richardson. Guy's gone again.
Actually, I think he went to Philly first before Indy, and but like he only played in 1 or 2 games when he had the chance.
Yeah. But still, Jalen Hurts. I mean, this guy is literally he's the dude, the filler. He's the filler man. He's gonna be one of those what's his face?
He's gonna be like a Tyrod
Harvard. What's his name?
Fitzpatrick.
Patrick. Thank you.
There you go.
He's literally gonna be.
I mean, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
He's just going to be a journeyman quarterback. I mean, he does a really great job. He filled in great.
Nothing wrong with that.
He filled in great for the Colts last year without Richardson. He almost did they go to the playoffs? No, they lost. No. They were like number 8. They were like right there though. They were in contention to go to the playoffs with a backup quarterback. And it played enough for the Raiders to be like, hey, maybe come get the starting job here. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't play him unless he has a pretty shitty like OTA and like preseason. But
yeah,
I mean,
no, I think for sure he's QB1 for them this year.
You have to. It's hard, especially but you have a defensive minded quarterback. So do they really care how much their offense is doing? It's if their defense can hold it down.
I mean,
well, the problem is
Davante Adams on your sideline, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. What if Davante gets sent to the Jets? Like all the rumors are saying he will be by the deadline, if not way sooner. So if you lose him, I mean, you're just really making the job very hard for Gardner.
And I totally spaced on this, but it's not on here, and I don't know why I didn't put it on here. Josh Jacobs leaves, signs with the Green Bay Packers. Right, that's a huge. They brought in Alexander Madison, who is a Vikings guy. I had him on fantasy. He's average. He's not the best.
He's all right. Yeah, he's certainly not Josh Jacobs.
No, not at all. But dude, you still take Davante Adams. You were supposed to do all these things with him. You guys were right there with the Cowboy team. And really, let's just blame this on John Gruden because this dude slowly was the decline of what the Raiders were supposed to be. And then throw in Henry Ruggs being an idiot on strip. That also really hurts. Yeah, that's a first draft pick you had 1 year. And then you know what's even more funny? I used to love Michael Gallup. I think that dude was really good for a time period. Went and signed with the Raiders. He just recently retired. Said his heart's not in it. He's no longer in the mind frame to play football.
Dude, the Raiders have crazy bad luck when it comes to wide receivers not making it through the offseason because he had Antonio Brown pull his shit to get off them and to the Patriots. Now you have this. Like they're just a bit of a cursed team. I know you can say that about a few teams in this league, including my beloved Lions, but the Raiders definitely feel a little cursed.
They definitely are a little cursed, would you say? Well, I hope for their sake that they eventually get it all together. I think Brock Bowers, their draft pick for tight end, is going to be a addition to them. It's going to help.
That was a great pick.
But like, I mean, still, what are you going to do with what you have, right? Like, I just think it comes down to being like, this is still a little interesting. Like, you went and drafted a tight end, which you just need so many other pieces. Like, he basically just went for the best guy on the board, and he is the best of it, for sure.
Which is nothing wrong with that when that is a position you needed anyway. But obviously it's not as crucial as building the trenches and building a strong secondary and whatnot. But I like the pick. We'll see if Bowers can have a hot rookie season like a Sam Laporta at that position, because they're going to need it.
Dude, for sure. Hey, I got one question for you guys. In order to close out this, I just need a little hype. You both look dead.
I'm wide awake.
Wide awake? Well, let me show me some love, Chris. Show me some hype. What you got?
Oh, okay. Love? Sorry.
Yeah.
Whoa, not that kind of love. What I will say though,
baby.
I've been very involved in every conversation. Okay, I don't want this. No, I don't want this. No, I've been passionate about, and I've been football-esque. I was told I did too many rants. I was told I got us off many times, and now I'm on topic, and I'm not lively enough for you. Figure it out, buddy. Figure it out.
I mean, I agree. Actually, do you want the ADD that is between us to just pour out? Because it will. And next thing you know, we'll be talking about the Wiggles going on tour and have nothing to say about sports.
Or how bad the fucking Browns are.
You know what? If that's what we need in order to see some smiles on your faces and some energy, by damn it, I'll give in. But
well, you know what? I know what will bring a smile to my face.
We've already talked about the worst
happy ending.
We talked about the stupid AFC.
Well, of course.
And I'm done talking about it. No one's excited about it.
Before we move on from them, I will say, I understand you're like, oh, you went and drafted the best player on the team or the best player on the draft board. But if Gardner Minshew can't do anything with Devontae Adams and Bowers, right? Is that how you say his last name? Yeah.
Yes.
Then what the fuck are we doing here? Because both of those people can get open and catch the ball. So Minshew, you have nothing. Like, even if you have to get it out, your tight end can get open in 5 yards and actually make a play behind it. So let's see what he can actually do. Let's give the love to the Raiders. I think that they're going to probably be the second best team, unlike somebody else that we know over here. I would point, but someone would be mad at me. The Chargers are not going to be the second best team.
See, the Raiders. I want controversy. I want action, and this is exactly
you really think the Raiders are going to be better?
Okay, brother.
Let's just get into this before. Let's set this up. I want to know your number 1, 2, 3, and 4. I don't care the order you go. Alex, go first.
Easy.
No explanation, just say it.
Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, Broncos.
Yikes. That could not be more wrong. I'm going to go Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos.
What the fuck? You changed one position.
And you couldn't be more wrong.
No way, dude. There is no way that you think that the Chargers are going to have a better season than the Raiders.
I believe it so much that I think we need to place a bet right now.
Brother, we try to do these bets all the time, and they never work with me.
He always finds a way out.
No. Okay. You honestly think the Raiders finish second?
This
or not even second, just finish over the Chargers.
All right, that's fine. 2 minutes. This will be a stipulation of if Tay stays with them. Because if Devontae Adams leaves, they have no chance of finishing second. Like, if he does get sent to the Jets in the 4th game, there's no way that they finish second. But if they
but what about the trade deadline?
Sure. Well, I'll say this, but if he gets traded at the trade deadline, they should still be able to, because they should get something for him. So
Because they're
should
only
be
getting
able
rid
to-
of him at the trade deadline
Yeah.
if they're not going to do well. So
Yeah.
if they give me that, give me the trade deadline because that's
100%.
pretty far into this. That's like week 9.
Yeah.
So let's say if he is still on the team by week 7, the bet is void or not void. It's active. It's
week
good.
9, brother, not week 7. What the fuck are you talking about? Week 9, if he is no longer on the team, if he's off the team by week 8, if he gets half the season played, then they should have a better record. And if he doesn't play half the
week
season
8
with them,
week 8
yeah,
we'll meet
week-
halfway.
so if
week
he finishes week 8 with them, then yes.
Okay.
If he gets traded
So-
mid-game, then no.
Okay, that's fair. Then I think the bet should be what are you going to agree to is the hard question.
Listen, brother, I'm down to do whatever you want. I say that. I'm down. You throw something out there,
Okay,
and I'll figure it out.
let's just keep it simple. The loser has to wear a t-shirt that was made by the winner
I'm down
for
Well,
an
yeah,
entire podcast
I'm down.
after
Yeah, easy money.
this bet is determined, which
Easy money.
mathematically could be way before the season ends because the
Hun-
Raiders are going to be trash.
You think that, buddy, but you're
I
wrong.
made this exact same bet with Alex, and I never bought him the shirt, and he never did it. So I think there should be a different bet because it never happened.
Oh, see, I'm not going to buy him a shirt. I'm going to make him a shirt.
Okay.
I'm going to
done.
get a white undershirt
But
and
we
I'm
don't
going
wanna-
to decorate it in any way that I want.
I'm down. Hey, listen, and then
Well-
I will get you the most beautiful shirt that you could ever think of wearing.
Okay. So we have it. Justin's.
I want to review the terms of this bet because right
Yes.
now it's the perfect set. Alex, Chris, the bet is that the Raiders will have a winning season as long. What is the bet then? Go ahead.
A better season.
Chargers.
Who's the
Second
Chargers? Yeah.
division.
As Devontae Adams stays with the team until week 8.
Week
He has to
8.
play for
Week 9
8.
until week 9. They have to finish
No.
week 8. They have to finish week 8.
No,
If he
no.
gets-
He, literally, I just said that he has to play week 8.
Yes.
If he plays the week 8 game, then it's good. If he doesn't, it's null and void, no more. Okay.
Yep.
So thank you. But the bet is if you guys do that, if the Chargers end up having a worse record, Chris has to wear a shirt made by Alex. And if Chris wins the bet, Alex has to wear a shirt decorated by Chris, all for one episode of our podcast. So that's an hour, 32 hours.
An
Easy
hour
money.
and 32 hours.
An
Easy,
hour, 2 hours.
easy.
I
money,
agree.
brother.
Okay.
I'll
Well,
take that bet.
You guys were there's the energy and rant that I needed because I just needed to sit back, watch you roll my eyes and go through it. Well, I agree with Chris. Sorry, I'm going to go that exact same order too. I'm going.
Well, I love that you're on the losing side.
Chargers, I'm going the Raiders, and I'm going the Broncos. Alex, love you, buddy. I can go back to every single episode. Emotion. That's all you have. You have
Nope.
no loss.
I
At the end of the day, the Chargers at least have a better quarterback than the Raiders do, and that does actually do a bunch for them. So
100%.
it's all
I-
good. I think it's going to be a close call. I think it's going to be right there. It's going to be interesting to see because I think at the end of the season, it's going to really work out. But the Broncos are going to definitely be the worst. The Chiefs are definitely going to be the best. That middle is up for grabs. I just think Chargers over Raiders.
That's fine. And you're going to be on the losing side. And I would love to see some passion from you. So I'll send it over to the second best division in the NFL, to the NFC East. And I'll throw it right over to Justin.
Oh man, no, I want an intro. Like I know we have the steel mill and it's cool and all, but like there's something special about the Cowboys corner.
Yeah, but this isn't the Cowboys corner. This is the
It
NFC
is a little
East.
bit of the
This is
Cowboys.
not the Cowboys corner. This is
It's
not
a
the
little
Cowboys
bit
corner. I don't
Cowboys
want to
corner.
hear. Okay.
I want to hear it. I want to give
No,
it to
not
you.
until the
You
start of the
excited, Chris?
season.
Come give it to me.
No, Chris, don't you fall into it. Not until the start of the
Chris.
season. We have to get, you keep choking on that dick. You keep choking on that dick, and I will throw it right over to you, to the second best division in the NFL, to the NFC East, where we have a lot of moves, a lot of things happen, not by one team, but by 3 teams.
4.
Nope, by one team did nothing, 3 teams did a lot.
Oh shit. Okay. I see. Well, it's not that they did nothing. It's just that they didn't do as much as 3 other teams. But actually, Justin, didn't you say that the
Hold on, we'll
Giants
get
made the
into it.
least amount of? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Well, I just wanted an old Cowboys corner. It still is a Cowboys corner, so I'll fucking feel it. To answer your question, we didn't do a lot to get. We did a lot to get rid of.
Okay.
Okay.
So we
Fair
had a lot going on. We have a lot going on, but the New York Giants definitely had the least active compared to all of us, but they also had the most drama. So like,
Sure.
we got a lot. We actually have a lot of drama too. So let's just cats out of the bag, right? There's so many things going on. We're just talking about the Cowboys. Dude, I have so many beefs, but let's just talk about our losses because I think that's the most important. One, we go ahead and lose Dan Quinn to the Commanders. Sad day, sad day. Love Dan Quinn. Love what he did with our defense. We were stud defense, but we went out and got Mike Zimmerman, who is an old head coach, an old Cowboys defensive coordinator, actually. So he's coming home to play, and hopefully he has a stacked defense. The Vikings always had a good defense during that time. They always had a shaky offense. So again, you have good players. You really have a young team. It's a very young team, and we have a solid DB room. Our DB room is arguably one of the best in the whole NFL. Our defensive line is also really stacked. You know, we still have a Digizua, so Parsons, we still have DeMarcus Lawrence. Those are 3 studs. And then Mozzie Smith's supposed to play a much bigger role this year. He's actually starting right now in our lineup. So, and I know he's a Michigan guy, so I had to stroke his ego a little bit, you know.
Thank you.
Absolutely. But it'll be interesting to see what Mike Zimmerman comes. After that, we lost a fuck ton of people. All I think for this good reason, and I think because honestly, our cap space is kind of crazy. But let's just talk. Tyron Smith, my guy, he should have retired Cowboy. He will retire Cowboy, but he went and signed with the Jets for a year. But he was injury prone the last 2 years, and that was really detrimental for us. It really fucked our plans a little bit, and we always were moving guys on our offensive line, so it's kind of tough. Then we also lost our center, Bizadash. I can't remember how to say his name, but it's something like that. Tyler Bizadash. We lost 4 players actually to the Commanders. The 3 notable ones are the Bizadash, Dorrance Armstrong, who was super good for us, and Dante Fowler, who was an edge rusher. All the Commanders.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Rough one. All 2 are division rival. We're all rivals in here. That's what the funny part is, right? So, but they went over with Dan Quinn. I hate that Dan Quinn also went to the Commanders. So you could have gone anywhere else.
Yeah, that does suck.
We let go of a disappointment of Tony Pollard to the Titans, which good. Get rid of it. I know Chris was so hyped on him last year, and I got on the
I
train.
thought for sure.
And dude just struggled, brother. Struggled. It's not that we don't. It wasn't him. He just can't be his own. You know what I mean?
Like he can't be by himself. You think he has to be in a committee?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he proved it. When him and Zeke were playing off each other, they were great, fantastic. I was stoked with them. But like he took away our power backs. We had no power backs, and that's a big thing for us. And you saw it a lot of times in the end zone. Where do we really need someone fucking pounded down their throat? We had Tony Pollard isn't that guy. Tony Pollard's an outside tackle kind of guy. He's not a downhill runner.
Yeah.
So we also lost. We had a guy, Jonathan Jenkins, who was really good at D tackle for us too. He went to the Seahawks. So those are like our big names that we let go of. Goodbye, good riddance.
Before you go on, was this to help clear up cap space for something? For
CD, right? So Tyron Smith was definitely super expensive. So to let him go was a cap space thing. Some of these other players were free agents, and so they went and decided to go sign with their team. Tony Pollard, free agent, he signed with the Titans because we franchise tagged him, I believe, last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Pollard?
So, yeah. I can't remember. I actually, Jam, can you fact check me?
That's and then you were like, after the season that he had, you're like, why would we sign him for this contract?
Yeah,
we're not going to do that.
Yeah. But we did go out and so one of our struggles has also been our linebacking crew. That's why Parsons has played linebacker and DN. He's kind of like a flex one on that. actually strictly D in and out. He is no longer a linebacker. He's a defensive end. Is his position. So super stoked about that. We went out and got Eric Kendricks. He's decent from the Chargers. He's a middle linebacker. He'll be a solid veteran in our very young core. Which I'm happy about. I think it's a good piece. We have Overshawn, who was or Overshown, I think is his name. Was that right? Yeah,
he was on a $10.1 million franchise tag.
That's ridiculous.
That is.
Yeah, love it.
It's a lot of money for what he ended up doing for you.
But we have a guy, he was played for Texas, Overshown, I think is actually his name. But I can't something I can't remember his first name. But he was super solid at Texas. Really excited. He hurt himself. He actually tore his ACL in the beginning of OTAs.
I saw that.
Yes. So the fact that he's back, super stoked. I think that's going to be a huge piece. Desmond Clark, who was like our nickel last year, played both, in the safety position and at the linebacker. He's kind of a smaller statue guy, but I think he's beefed up this all season, and he'll be a great addition because he played super well for us. So I still think we're gonna have Trayvon Diggs is back with Deron Bland, who are literally two of the most solid corners intercepting wise, right? So we'll still have big plays, we'll still have a good defense. We went out, and then let's talk about our guys on offense. Oh, Jesus. So this is the problem, right? If we talk about anything at the end of the day, it's always our fucking offense. So I'll just tell you who we add first before I get into my spiel, because I'm pretty pissed about this offseason on offense. Our defense, whatever, we lost a couple pieces, but I think we'll be fine. This offense, it makes me want to chill. I'm a Cowboys fan. I want to fucking kill somebody. Because, okay, go out and sign Zeke. Fine, whatever. Like, that is literally like
you're not happy with to see Zeke back,
saying, "Hey, babe, do you think we can get back together?" And in about a year you're gonna break up again because you just know it's not gonna last, right? You're just trying to get a booty call. A booty call lasts a whole year, and you do the fucking same thing. This is literally
question:
what
is he coming in as a running back or as a center?
as a running back? Yes, exactly. Right? But and I think honestly, he'll be. I think he'll be better in this position than Tony Pollard was last year. So I think he actually is an upgrade, but we could have had guys like fucking Derrick Henry. We could have had a Derrick Henry who lives in Dallas, likes the Dallas area. They didn't even reach out to him.
Yeah, no call.
Couldn't afford him, maybe?
No, I mean, we probably could, but I think they didn't want to afford him because they wanted to pay guys like Dak, CD, and Parsons, I'll get into this drama here in a little bit. But still, the fact that we didn't even fucking try. You tell me you're serious about a Super Bowl and you're not even going to go try and talk to Derrick Henry. Who knows if he would have even been like, yeah, dude, we'll be negotiable. And if Dak, CD, and Parsons would have felt the same, as, hey, you trying to build a winning culture? At the end of the day, most times people who win Super Bowls, the team is not, the highest paid player isn't technically the quarterback. Like Patrick Mahomes isn't technically the highest paid player on the Chiefs. Because it's a team-friendly deal. There's a reason why these things get done. So
that's a crazy team-friendly. I mean, I understand he's not the high, but that's a crazy team-friendly deal that he adds there. Adds a lot of money.
He's taking the Tom Brady route.
But that's exactly what you should do. You want Super Bowls, you want money. Like, don't get me wrong, I like money. Money's great, and I'm not one to talk, but like, if you're really in this to win championships, what are you doing? And so I was pissed that we didn't even go after him. I was pissed that we didn't even make some off-season moves. We really needed a wide receiver because, well, right now we literally have some young guys. Like we have CD. We have Tolbert. I haven't even fucking look up at this point. That's how bad I am.
Well, because you lost Gallup, so I can't even think of who else you have.
Brandon Cooks, Kevontae Turpin.
Oh, that's right.
There's not a
but Cooks is on his last year too.
And Cooks is trash.
And we drafted a wide receiver.
He's not trash.
He's not trash. He's still good. He still had 1,000 yards with us last year. He literally
that's crazy. He had 1,000 yards with you guys last year.
That's the thing about Brandon Cooks is he goes to all these different teams and he just can't seem to land a long-term deal, but he produces. It's just quiet.
Okay, he did not have $1,000. He had 657 yards. So I'm sorry.
I was about to say, are we kidding me here? I remember you saying he's at 1,000 yards at every other fucking team he's been on. He's gonna be really great this year, and then he kind of was booed with this last year.
Okay, but in his defense, our offense also had times of struggle.
Right? Oh, for sure.
True.
Then we go on our draft. We get a solid offensive tackle replace Tyrone Smith, which I'm super stoked about. Right, we needed it. We just wanted someone that was more affordable. So perfect, easy. Okay.
Yeah.
However, this is the youngest and most raw offensive line I have ever seen in my entire life. Guys, we have a rookie starting on the left side of the tackle. We have second year Tyler Smith, who we drafted last year, playing guard next to him. We have another second year who didn't even get to play last year, named Brock Hoffman under center. We don't even know what he looks like. But then we have Zach Martin, OG, a vet, but he also restructured this year to make cap space. So love that for us. And then we have Terrence Steele, who was another really big guy for us on the right side. So our right side looks pretty good. Our left side is super young. And Terrence Steele is still super young. So the crazy thing is, everybody except Zach Martin is probably within 4 years or less experience. Together, they have probably less than 10 years of NFL experience.
That's good.
Kind of fucking crazy. But you know what? The one thing I will credit the Cowboys to, and I think you guys have to do this too, is they're really, really solid in drafting, and they're really solid offensive linemen specifically. They just
For
know
sure.
We've always had
No, you're so right. This might be the I don't want to say weakest because we haven't seen it, but for sure the youngest and most inexperienced offensive line the Cowboys have had in our lifetime. Like that was one thing you could always count on with the Cowboys, is that they always did have a stacked offensive line. Sometimes it was the number one in the league, but even if it wasn't, it was always at the top. So this will be very interesting.
You know what I'm excited about young guys is they're going to be a little bit more agile and right, so they can pick up energy a lot faster. They can play a little bit quicker into like what Mike McCarthy's offense is, rather than guys like Tyrone Smith, who were injury prone, needed the break. Tyler Badash, who also needed the break. Zach Martin's older, but like he's the one that's never had any issues. He's been just perfect forever.
Does this also raise a concern for Dak? Like, dude, you have a rough offense. Not that they're going to be rough. We don't know what they're going to look like. They're young. They might, but like you said, their offensive line coach is awesome because they've always produced a really good offensive line. But does this make a scary pit for Dak, where it's like, dude, I could get hit 50 times this year?
No, I think maybe, but maybe not. Like, I don't think so, because still, like, Terrence still played a lot of games and he was still really good. Tyler Smith still played a lot of games last year and he did good for us. Like, we have two guys who are unknown. We have the left tackle, which is a huge one, and then we have our center, who you kind of are like, I don't really know what's going to go on. I don't know what's going to happen, but you do have 3 confirms, right? So I still think we're good.
Okay,
and we're still going to be okay.
Just young.
Do his thing, right? I hope that it's better. But let's just even get into those conversations. Dak, CD, Parsons all want money right now. And it is the most drama-filled money thing, period. CD is now holding out due to financials.
Mm-hmm.
Dak is playing through it. Parsons has a 5th-year option they're playing through. I think they're really trying to win a championship. I think they want to, but they, again, what have you fucking done? So, I don't know. For me, Dak is this year. He has to play. He has to prove it, because we can't go to the playoffs and keep losing games. It just can't happen, right? We got destroyed last year by the Packers. Like, that was the most brutal game I've watched in a long time. That was.
I don't think anyone, even the biggest Cowboys hater in the world, I don't think expected that game to be like that.
Nope. And we looked like ass. Like, our CD and Dak was out of sync. All these people were out of sync, and it just goes to show. And it was just embarrassing. And so I think Dak knows, like, hey, I can't ask for money right now because look what I did. I didn't do anything. And I'm surprised CD is in this. Don't get me wrong. CD had a wonderful, wonderful season. He had one of the best seasons, arguably. But he also did nothing that playoff game. He literally did nothing. He had multiple times.
They all look like deer in headlights.
They did. And so, like, dude, I get you're holding out. I know you want your bag. But at the end of the day, what's more important to you? And this is where I feel like the number 88 sometimes has so much drama behind it, right? Like, Dez had a lot of drama.
It does seem cursed.
Had a lot of drama. Like,
Michael Irving definitely had his share of drama.
Yep. So it's just, dude, what do we do? And how do we do it? We have literally only 12 million in cap space available. So
Yeah.
what are we gonna, what is
So
we
I
gonna
heard that Parsons basically stands no chance of getting paid until next year.
Yeah, for sure.
He's definitely like on the back burner, no doubt. And then they would like to wait on Dak, obviously, because like you said, it's like you gotta fucking prove it. Like these first round exits are not going to be good enough. But the problem with Dak is, let's say he does prove it. Well, guess what? When you get to the end of the year, you have absolutely no leverage and he could walk. He could go in free agency. So now you have to really pay him to get him to stay. So that's a tightrope walk right there that Jerry's playing. And then with CD, obviously CD wants Justin Jefferson money. Whether he wants to beat him, I don't know. But he obviously, like, there's no doubt he wants to be in that realm, that range of Justin Jefferson money. And you also have Jamar Chase, who's in the same pickle as him as far as could play another year, but also is eligible to be getting paid. Now, I think the Bengals are definitely going to not pay him until next year because that's just usually their track record on things. But at the end of the day, like CD's going to be expensive and he's only going to get more expensive. So if I'm Jerry, personally, obviously you wait on Parsons, you try and work something out with Dak if that's who you feel should be your long-term quarterback. But I think the biggest priority is just paying CD because he is that guy.
But it makes me think, are we just being cheap?
I don't know
What
if you're
is
being cheap, but you're definitely being patient. For whatever reason, Jones has no issue waiting, as he likes to put it this offseason, watching the leaves fall. The problem
yo,
is those leaves are dollars and a lot of them are falling.
And
the
it's like, yeah, you're not gonna sign Dak, but say he does prove himself, and like he said, I understand Jay's like, oh no, he'll stay with the Cowboys, but it's like, dude, quarterbacks are only getting more and more and more expensive, and it's like, what are you
No
gonna do?
doubt Dak will be the first 60 a year quarterback. Whether it's with the Cowboys, I don't know, but he will for sure be the first.
100%.
You don't think
no,
so?
no. Because like you guys got, okay, here's why, right? He already had that mega deal. He's now on this side of his career. He was here when he got paid, right? He was hitting that plateau. Last year, he's kind of just hit this cup. And like, not that he's gonna have a steadily incline and he's not gonna be still good. He is, but like with that comes age, right? He's not gonna be as agile, he's not gonna be as good. He's just gonna get older. And at the end of the day, like, where are you gonna go? Like, that's gonna pay. Where are you gonna go? That's
How
gonna
old is he?
you can't prove it. Like
He's
he's
30.
30.
He's not old.
So okay, he'll be 32 next year. Yeah, he's not old and he can play, but he's not. Is he a guy you see playing till 40 like Aaron Rodgers, like Tom Brady?
Not the
Maybe.
way he plays.
Even if he does 32, right? Then he goes signs a contract for 4 years and he ends up being 36 and playing. That's still a good long while. But like at the same time, you're risking it between a 32 and 36-year-old as a like he has already had injuries,
Yep.
already gone through these things.
Well, look what the Falcons did.
Anything he takes it free, but he's dumb as fuck.
Oh,
Happy birthday, Dak!
Jam.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday
Dak!
to Dakota Prescott.
Yeah.
Happy
Prescott.
birthday, Dak!
He's my okay, and I have to say this because it is his birthday. He is my man. I do love Dak Prescott, but if he wants to, he's got to sign a team friendly. If you're after the money, dude, you're not going to win a Super Bowl. It's just how it is.
100%.
We're going to pay something different. And I think I just, you already got your payday. You already did these things. Just write other stuff. Like you already have millions of dollars. You don't need all this money. Use it. Do what you need to do with it. But you can invest this stuff and still make millions. Like you're going to
Well,
be
and
millions.
as the Cowboys quarterback, you have so many more opportunities than your average quarterback to make additional money.
Oh yeah, buddy.
So then why take that from us?
Yeah. Go keep doing more Tempur-Pedic commercials and land some other brands and shit.
The only, I mean, you guys are going to be good, and I think you're going to pay. And I think Yeah, and also you're probably waiting for the cap season raise next year. It raised a lot this year, which was nice, and you're probably gonna wait for it to raise next year. Hopefully, you can get a deal done with CD. Hopefully, and if you can't, that would be tragic if he doesn't play this year.
He'll definitely play. We'll definitely get this done. There's no way that they let him do this. And I just will say this too as we close out the Cowboys corner. We did just recently lose Sam Williams. He was a really good.
Yes.
Towards
I was going to
8
bring that up too.
So that was a bummer. That's another shot in the foot. But really,
Who,
truthfully,
who is he?
He's a defensive end.
Ooh,
he's a pretty solid one. But we have a lot of faith in our draft, the guys that we drafted, a lot of faith in our young people. And I think the only part that's going to hurt us is going to be in the long haul versus injuries. You never know. Each year's always different. Be healthy all year. But once it gets down from week 10 to 16, if we have injuries, I don't know what's going to happen. But I think we'll still have a really good season. I think we'll still be a top team. We'll still fight for it. But this division is fucking tough. And if I want to talk about tough people, I'm so sorry. I really want to go to the Philadelphia Eagles because this team,
Let's do it.
they lost people, but they only got better. Like they added some people they needed. Biggest one, let's just talk about it. Saquon Barkley, dude, 3 years, $7.75 million to the rival. Said F the Giants.
That I cannot wait for those Giants matchups because it's gonna be hilarious.
I don't understand. Like, I understand as a GM, you're trying to. Did you guys watch those? Like, have you guys watched Hard Knocks?
I've seen the clips regarding Saquon.
Okay, so I've watched everything up to what's out, and it's actually really good. I was talking to Rosie, and I was like, "This is kind of like male drama. It's kind of like a male soap opera, kind of, right? It's super fun, but like, the Giants had a number, and that's just the way that they I don't know if it was portrayed or the way they were talking about it. It was just such a weird way of going about. Like, you can have a number, that's fine. Like, that's fine if you only can spend this much money on him. But it's like the way that they went about it was like not great.
I can't believe that they expected him to come back to them after giving him permission to seek a different deal because they disrespected him so badly that even if they were to match or even slightly go above someone else's deal, he probably at that point was like, yeah, I don't want to be back here because you clearly don't value me.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it just when you're watching it and you're watching this dude talk to him and have this conversation, it sounds like a principal talking to a student.
Oh, totally.
So confident in what he's saying and how he's saying it. Dude, these guys are athletes, brother. If you're gonna say it, just say it with the chest. Be a man about your word. Don't, hey, if you want to come back, we'd love an opportunity to match you. No, if you wanted to, you would have fucking done it.
And then he made him come out and say you're gonna come back and give the opportunity, right? It's come on, dude. You know that he doesn't have to do that.
Yeah, you're just guilting him to hopefully I can guilt him a little bit because we drafted him, we gave it his opportunity. This dude is gonna get his opportunity with or without your Giants. And he said, you know what? Team over here wants me, and I get to play you twice a year, so we're gonna fuck you up. I love it. I think it's great. Sucks for us.
It's gonna be funny.
Talk about
yes, it does.
Talk about a wild division. I've never seen so many trades and signs in a division.
There's right? You got Brian Burns, which we'll get to, but yeah, it is weird how much you guys intermingle with each other.
Yeah, we do. I don't know why I said Brian Burns. He was with Carolina.
Yeah, he was with Carolina. I don't know why.
Oh, sorry. I thought he was with the Commanders.
Nope.
That's on me.
But it's just the DC going over to the rival team, the running back going over to the rival. It's just a lot of these and not just small names of this second string line, these big names, these superstars, these head coach that have been of a team is going to these. It's kind of wild.
It is. Well, filling up with the Eagles, I think there's only a couple other things they have done from adding. So they took CJ from Chris.
GJ.
Take him back.
Take him.
Great personality, but I obviously he was hurt for most of the year. Yeah. I loved kind of the camaraderie he brought to the defense, but he did too much talking, and he didn't show up the way we needed him to in that 49ers game, and yet he did in the second half. He did talking at halftime, and I just don't get down with that. Like, finish the game and then chirp. Don't chirp before the game's over.
That's a straight Philadelphia Eagles fan. Like, he's gonna fit right in.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're so excited to have him back, and you know, nothing personal against him. I'm just glad that we don't have to deal with that, because I've waited so long for the Lions to be so good, and people started to actually like the Lions in a positive manner, and he single-handedly was starting to get them a lot of hate because he just wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Yep. No one to shut your mouth, people.
Yeah. And then they added one other guy who I didn't know who he was, because I'm assuming he gets on the limelight, but his name's Oren Burks. He's from the 49ers. I think he doesn't get as much because of like Fred Warner and what the fuck's his name? Dude.
You're telling me, but I know they have another good one over there.
Nick Bosa.
Nick.
Yeah. Nick.
What are you talking about?
But this dude,
I thought you were trying to think of the other linebacker.
this guy has over 100 tackles in each of his last two
Number
seasons.
57.
Warren Burks adding to the linebacking crew, which they got rid of. I don't think they got rid of, but he's still a free agent. Is Shaq Leonard or Darius Leonard at one point what he was. That still confuses me that he changed his name. Like, you got in the line.
Yeah, I don't. At least they're trying to go get something. I mean, the defense is going to be the defense. Their defense is going to, but no one really cares about their defense. It's all about their offense.
Well, and then this is where we go into the losses, right? And they lose like Jason Kelsey to retirement. They lost a couple of offensive linemen, but they were able to retain 3 of their big boys, right? Like Leonard Dickerson,
Malata.
Jordan Malata, is that how you say it? He resigned. So, and they still have what's his face on the other side of the line? I can't think of his name.
Lane Johnson, baby.
Thank you.
Yeah, but he's got to be on his last year, so
He's come, but he's still good. Like, that offensive line when they were all together was so freaking good, producing their Christmas albums.
well,
and
yeah. When you're false
rocking
starting almost every snap, you're gonna be pretty good.
Okay. Wow. Chris sounds like a fan into this division, but yeah, I mean, still only adding 2 heads, and then they trade off Hassan Reddick to the Giants or Jets. Excuse me, not the Giants, the other New York team. This dude is holding out on the Jets, by the way. He wants to get paid.
I saw that.
Because they traded
They're
him
pissed about it.
in the second round pick if they plays a certain amount of snaps. Now he's at the Jets and he's literally holding out because he wants to get the payday. I wonder if he gets paid. I wonder what they do.
Well, what did they expect? Like, the Jets, what did they expect? Like, obviously he wanted to get paid. That's why they traded him when they did. Like, you should have expected the need to pay him.
It's the Jets, brother. They're just hoping Aaron Rodgers can will them to a win.
Right.
Right.
But they lose DeAndre Swift, obviously, because they add Saquon.
Yep.
I thought that's smart.
But they didn't even really use Swift much.
They did to enough to make him a name, but like, he was from that area. Did you know that? I believe.
Yeah, he grew up in Philly. Yeah.
So that's crazy. Like, I just think, man, dude, you had it kind of where you wanted, your hometown, things like that. But whatever. And then they got rid of Kevin Baird. They traded for him last year. Remember?
Oh yeah. Yep.
They let him walk this year.
Well, I thought was going to happen in Tennessee, because I was there. They were getting rid of Byard, and then I thought they were going to get rid of King that same year. Like, all signs were going to you're just rebuilding, and then they kept Derrick Henry. So everyone was like, "Why would you trade Byard? Like, what was the point of trading him for like nothing?" It was a very interesting like trade.
Let's be honest, they made some very poor GM moves in the last few years.
Yeah.
Right. But still, overall, this team is still going to be scary. This team is the Ravens of the NFC. They have a very low back in Jalen Hurts. They just go ahead.
Great defense.
Time running back like Saquon Barkley, who, if is not injured, is a really, really solid running back, if not injured. And behind that offensive line, I think he'll even do better. Because, yes, they have some new faces, but he still kept 3 of the OGs. And still, at the end of the day, they're going to be good. And the Giants line has never been good. They've always sucked. So like, imagine what he's done with a line. Now he gets with a good line.
Sure. That's going to be interesting. And speaking of Saquon, let's just jump right over to New York and dissect the Giants, who, like you said, have had a pretty rough offseason in a lot of ways. I think their biggest highlight is just getting Brian Burns. It's the guy I wanted the Lions to go after. I think a lot of teams, I know the Bears fans really wanted him too. So that was a really good get. And so all the Giants fans who are trying to make themselves feel better about, getting rid of Barkley are saying, well, we couldn't have gotten Burns if we didn't let Barkley walk, type of a deal. So, okay, whatever helps you sleep. That is a great move on their part, but I'm not really impressed with anything else that they have going on. They lost Darren Waller.
Well, he retired. It's not like
yeah, they lost him.
Yeah, and then
he still had several years left on his contract, and then he's like, "No, I'm done."
Yeah, look at Michael Gallup. He gets traded, and he's like, "I'm done."
Yeah,
it happens.
sucks.
It happens. What I will say is, you got to watch the document. You got to watch Hard Knocks, because like the way that they described it, that's where they're getting it from. Like they did beef up their O-line. They did try their hardest to beef up their O-line. They got a good outside linebacker. Don't understand what the fucking point was bringing of Drew Lock in was for. You paid Danny Dimes fucking $40 million. You might as well just ride it out. You're not trading him, so you might as well just ride it out with him. Why?
Well,
why would
that's an insurance plan, I think, if he gets hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah, because they didn't get Tyrod. That makes sense. They lost out to Tyrod. But it was just such a weird thing. And then yeah, it's gonna be very, very interesting to see what they do this year.
Well, I would like to add Jalen Mills. I thought he's solid. I mean, he goes to a rival too.
Yeah.
The New York, but New York's still gonna be the same New York that they were last year. I still think they lost a lot more. Like Xavier McKinney, that's who they let walk. They let Jalen Mills come and replace him, and I'm so sorry. Xavier McKinney is a lot better than that.
Is that just a cost thing, you think? Cheaper contract?
I have no idea what the Giants are paying for that they couldn't hold on to Barkley or McKinney. It was like an either or. Like, I understand, like, maybe you can only take one of them, but it was like you couldn't get the deal done with either of them. What are you doing?
I think they're really rebuilding in a way that is they don't know. I think there's so much mystery, and like I only watched clips. And Alex, you can tell me if you've actually watched Hard Knocks. You can confirm or deny this. It sounds and looks like this whole front office has no idea what they're trying to do. They don't know where.
Yeah, so like the front office, like this guy, he was with the Bills for a while, and then he got the GM spot here, and then I think this is his second year. I don't know. Maybe, yeah, it might be. I think it's his second year. But it's just like, then you have like the CEO and president of the company, this old dude. You can tell kind of he is not like the moves that this guy's made. It is very interesting to see, like, this front office is, I think, trying to do what every front office does and make this their team, but it's such a weird way of going about it. You got I think they raised the salary cap like $15 million. You're telling me with the raise of a salary cap, you couldn't keep one or the other? Like, you didn't have
don't get me wrong, 40 million a year is a lot of money for Danny Dimes, but that's not even like top tier quarterback money in the league. So it's like, yeah, how could you not at least keep Saquon, who they labeled as a $12 million a year running back, when they have a $40 million a year quarterback? It's like, that's not that much. And your $40 million a year quarterback earned that contract because of being able to rely on that $12 million running back. So it's like, why not keep that pair together?
And then they brought in Zach Moss, I'm pretty sure, right?
Whatever.
What's his name?
Devin Singletary.
Devin, thank you.
Oh yeah, Zach Moss went to the Bengals.
Yeah, it's the same person to me. They're the same
stack of. Yeah, both Bills running backs.
They're both Bills running backs. They were in that system, but it's just like, what are you guys doing over there? And then they're like, let's get Brian Burns, and it's like, yes, obviously, I don't know a team that wouldn't want Brian Burns on their team. He's a great player. But then not to keep the other two people that are just going to let walk? Are you going to let your running back and your cornerbacks walk? For what?
Good rebuilding and bad rebuilding. The Giants are a prime example of bad rebuilding.
Yep.
Yes.
On a flip note, I think the Washington Commanders have been on the opposite end and have been good rebuilding and have done it fucking fast.
They're going to be so interesting this year with how many new additions they have. Now, they're claiming that Jaden Daniels isn't going to be QB1 right off the bat, but I'm calling bullshit. I think you have to put that kid in at least early on.
Well, I'm curious what you do. So you go and steal my boy Dan Quinn. Proud of you. I'm excited. Good. He's going to be awesome for your defense. You're still in Washington, D.C. Your field is still ass. Your whole team is still ass. You don't even have a name. You're ass. And you go and steal a bunch of my Cowboys player because you're ass and you know you got to do better.
Yeah, you tell them. Off-brand Cowboys, huh?
The off-brand Cowboys, exactly. Washington off-brand Cowboys.
The Cowmen.
Then you fucking team, and then you went and just added people. Like, I love the addition of Zach Ertz. Off a 1-year deal, just a tight end, a solid veteran, a guy who's been there before, done it. After that, you had Bobby Wagner, another veteran at middle linebacker. Exactly. He was actually with Dan Quinn during the Legion of Boom. It makes sense. He knows already what he likes, what the style he is. So he's going to come in and kind of give a tutorial about what it is. You signed Austin Eckler, who's been kind of injury prone, but still, for the running backs that you have him, and you still have Brian Robinson Jr. I think that's his name.
Yes. Yeah, they still have him.
Many men.
Yeah, he is still really good running back. So you add both of them. I think that's a good combo. They added I can't say this dude's name, but I know he's good. He's from the Dolphins. He was a cornerback. It's Noah Ebiogene. I don't know how to say it. He's definitely from not America, or is from America. His family descends from somewhere else. I can't say his name. And another guy they added was Frankie Lulu. I don't know the name, but I looked him up and I was so impressed because they paid him. That was the guy I asked you. I said, dude, they paid 3 years for $36 million. So he must be. Who is this guy? I believe he's I had it. Hold on. I think he's a prior Colt. Or no, prior Panther. Panther. He was with the Panthers originally. So
100 plus tackles last 2 seasons. That's insane. Like, that's a pretty good resume right there.
So, like, I mean, you just go out and get all these people and add additions, and the only people you lost are Curtis Samuels and Antonio Gibson, and then you go and draft Jaden Daniels and Luke McCaffrey at wide receiver, and you still have Dotson, Terry McLaurin, and they have one more guy. I can't remember his name, but they do have one more guy
on their wide receiver core.
Yeah,
Dotson, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel left, and then
that's it. I think
they think those are their 3. Dotson kind of really took over that number 2 position in the middle of the season, and then they obviously drafted Luke McCaffrey, but like, we'll see what he turns out to be. But it's just interesting. It's funny to see a defensive minded coach, and all they really added besides like Austin Eckler was defense.
Well, their offense last year was kind of ass, but they changed the people that were in the big positions, right? You went and got a different running back. You went and got a different quarterback. But then you add all these defensive positions. I
loved whatever their bucket name, whatever that kid's name that was throwing the ball for them last year. I fucking loved watching him throw the ball. I couldn't tell you what his name was. Played 1 season with them. Sam
Hartman.
No, that's Notre Dame, brother. What the fuck was his name? Howell. Thank you. Sam Howell. Yeah.
No, get out of here.
I loved watching him throw the ball. I'm not saying he was a great quarterback. I'm just saying I loved just watching him play. It was so fun.
I'm glad, because that's probably the last time.
They were winning some games they shouldn't have. They also lost some games they shouldn't have. This team wasn't horrible. And making all these additions, I think this is the most improved team in the NFC East by far. I think they'll make the most run for the money for a lot of teams, but I still think there's a clear 2 winners, and it's going to be tough. I'm biased on one, but I'm really concerned about the other. So
before we get into that,
what's up?
Do we think Jaden Daniels is starting week 1?
I think so.
Who's the backup? Is Sam Howell still there?
He will definitely start week 1. All
No,
they
Sam
have,
Howell's not there.
nope, they have Sam Hartman and Marcus Mariota and this guy named Jeff Driscoll, which I know Jeff Driscoll played for
The
Arizona.
Cardinals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like they're either
A
gonna
couple
start
teams.
Mariota or they're gonna start Daniels, and there's no way they start Mariota.
No. Well, I think they're going to act like they're going to start Mariota because he's the veteran. They want to act like, oh, we're going to let Jaden Daniels learn. I would place money on it that during the preseason, it's going to be so obvious that they need to go with Jaden Daniels. And
Yeah,
they're going to just let it happen naturally.
I'm excited to see him play. It's gonna be fun. I'm sad that he's a commander, but I'm excited to see him play.
I'm sad he's a commander too. I don't want to have to beat him every freaking game 2 times a year.
2 times a year, baby. 2 times a year. All right, boys. What is your division? We'll save you for last, Jay, for your division. What's your division? What's your division standings looking like this year for them, Christopher?
Well, it's tough because the thing about the NFC East is that for like over 20 years, there has never been a repeat divisional winner. Um, Obviously, we know the Cowboys won it this past year, and I think the Eagles are better this year. They totally fell off last year. They now have new coordinators, which I think was a big issue for them last year. But I'm actually going to ride with the Cowboys as the divisional winners. They're going to be the first back-to-back champs in I don't know how many years. But the Eagles are going to be right there. They're going to be right there. I think both them and the Eagles obviously make the playoffs again, like it has been. Then I think after that, you gotta go actually with the Commanders. I think, especially with Jaden Daniels, I think they're going to take a big step forward under Dan Quinn, and I think the Giants just continue to fall apart.
I will. Sure, I'll agree. I have no idea. Um, since 2004. Okay, so this will be a
So
20
20
year.
years exactly.
Yeah, this will be 20 years. I'm with you. I don't know. Like I don't know. I have no idea. The Eagles have been such a hot and cold team since they went to the Super Bowl. And so it's
Mhm.
like it's really hard to like be like, yeah, they got better. Yes, they did get better. And I love seeing Nick Sirianni cry at the national anthem. Like that's top notch. But like, but I just don't know. I don't know what it's gonna look like. I don't know where they're gonna go. So I guess I'll go Cowboys. I'll go Eagles, and then I'll go. I'm gonna ride with the G-men, dude. I'm the biggest G-men stan in this group for no reason.
You're the
For no
biggest Siemens stan in this group.
Hey, I'll take it too. G-men, Seaman, same thing to me. And then I'll go with the rookie quarterback of the Commanders to finish last. I know that's
Wow.
probably picking with my heart because I really do think it's probably going to be the Commanders and the Giants. And I
You're
think the
just mad the
Commanders are going to,
Commanders don't have Sam Howell.
yeah, I think the Commanders are going to shake it up actually and probably steal a game from either the Eagles or the Cowboys, and maybe even two. Hey, but that's just me.
Oh man. Well, you guys, okay, I'm gonna give you an emotional one, and then I'm gonna give you
Okay.
Okay.
an emotional one. 100% the Cowboys are gonna win this. It's still gonna be hard fought, but like I think if anything, adding Mike Zimmerman's gonna losing Dan Quinn and adding Mike Zimmerman's not gonna be as big of a difference as what we really think. There'll still be a really good defense and we'll still be really touted, but it's really going to depend on injuries. But I think the Eagles, it's going to come down to like, I don't know what the schedule is off the top of my head, but if we play them the last game, it'll come down to the last game.
Oh,
It
that'll
will
be
come down to
fun.
the last weeks to really make that intense and how we play within our division. And if we lose, it's just gonna be close. So Cowboys, Eagles, then I'm gonna go Commanders, and then I'm gonna go Giants. Logically speaking, I think really it's going to be Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, G-Men. But I think the Cowboys and Eagles again, same thing. The reason why is because although we lost more, we still have so much going on, and we didn't really add talent running back like the Eagles just did. I think the Eagles, yeah, they lost some pieces, but they're still a really strong team. So I still hate playing them. I still think we'll beat the shit out of them, but they're still just going to be a good team. It's going to be nerve-wracking. It's going to be tough. It's just going to be hard. So if they can beat us at home, that's tough. Playing in their place, we won last year in their place, so it's just going to be tough. But I'm gonna ride with the Cowboys. This is my official one, is the emotional one, but I'm gonna have a backup.
Cowboys.
I gave you guys the edge because if these big deals don't get done, you have really highly talented players who are just playing with a chip on their shoulder with something to prove, something to earn more so than what they did. Because their guys got paid, not Devontae Smith,
AJ
Brown got paid. Jalen Hurts
Barkley
got his
got
deal
paid.
last year. Yeah, like these guys are getting, their deals done where the Cowboys might have a little bit more edge to them.
The only the only thing that actually kind of really scares me with the Cowboys is your cornerbacks are so good. They're just so jumpy that like they could get beat over top. They're just both like interception, like they get them. They're ball hawks, but the counter to that is they do sometimes get beat over top because they're gonna jump this like the fact that he did 2 pick six last. Wait, how many 2 pick sixes last year?
Who?
Brand
9.
pick sixes.
He literally led. He set a record.
He had 9 pick sixes last year.
You also got Jordan Lewis. Got the other Diggs. Like, yeah, that's a scary secondary.
It's so scary, but they're just so they had 5
9 interceptions. He had 5 picks.
That's
crazy.
still insane.
They're just so jumpy. Like they just they're gonna jump those routes, and I love. But it's so fun. It's so fun.
It is so fun, and it is but when you get beat, damn,
it just sucks.
You know how good they are, and they get beat blown, dudes here, the other guys already off. That's gone. So either way, I think it'll be an exciting season of football. I think this is going to be the most intense division in the NFC by far. I think the NFC South is going to be intense, but it's going to be because they suck. This is going to be because they're good. And dude, there's always a lot of intensity when it comes to the NFC East between Cowboys, Eagles. This is like the NFC North. There's a lot of rivalness. There's a lot of it, right? And I can even say AFC North too. I can say both teams. There's just so much bitterness to one of each other. We're all rivals, and every game is going to be a toss up because people hate us. They love to hate us. They love to beat us, but we love to beat them.
You're America's team for some reason. And on that note, we will end the podcast with you boys. And as you know, we're on this new wave of love, right? We ditched it in the past, and we're in the new way of love. So if you could go ahead and smash that subscribe, follow us on all socials at the 3 Amigos Podcast, the number 3. That'd be so awesome. We're doing our thing. We're hoping that we produce good content for you guys, and we just want you guys to know that we love you guys.
Yeah,
love all of you.
Love all 25 of you, and now next season it'll be more, and you will just see us keep growing and growing and growing, and we can't wait to grow to make our pants feel just a little bit tighter because that's how much you made us grow. We love you guys, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
And please forget the last 5 seconds.